Welcome to another episode of Kiss My Assets.
The transparency, the openness, the communication is more than you could expect. I'm sold.
Don't let the fact that you don't know something or don't know enough about something hold you back.
I knew I wanted to invest. What better way to invest than to invest in what I already know that I love, which is real estate.
It was initially the 12% return, but it quickly turned into the people.
All right, we're back again. Another week of Kiss My Assets with me, Heather. We work in investor relations, and Jamison Manwaring, our fearless leader.
That's you didn't give your last name though, so I'm going to say Heather Andrews.
Heather Andrews.
The name sounds so good together, so you have to give that. And we just had our investor open house last week. How was that for you?
Yeah, our holiday party.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, my Olympics of the year, and it was so much fun. We had so many investors come out.
We had a lot of investors and a lot of people I hadn't seen for a while. We have several events this year. I think we had 3 open houses, but we do this holiday event, and a lot of people come to that, and it was a great time. I really had an awesome time.
So anybody can come by anytime to visit me because I'm happy to talk to anyone. I need more friends.
And a lot of stuff is going on. So it's exciting to talk about some of these items in the news that are impacting multifamily, impacting investing, and look forward to breaking down what some of this stuff means.
I know. Well, the big thing, I guess, I have learned that it's not always about Phoenix, that there are places that exist outside of my bubble. And so a big one is there's a new battery making manufacturing company that is looking at Tucson. I didn't know Tucson was cool now.
Yeah, that was a good announcement. I think it was the Governor Ducey that posted about it. 1,000 jobs are coming with that announcement. And, you know, Arizona in general is a very business friendly state, and a lot of those jobs come to Phoenix, and a lot of them go to Tucson too. There's reasons why companies want to go to Tucson. I think there's a little less cost when it comes to cost of living, getting office space, warehouse space down there is a little bit less expensive. So we keep seeing these good announcements, but that was a nice one out of Tucson.
Yeah, and there was something that I really thought was interesting so they thought it's going to employ. They plan about 1,000 workers by the time it's all built and working, but that they thought within 2 years the workers will have an annual wage of $65,000 a year, which I thought was excellent. Like, I don't know that Arizona has always been in the top when it comes to the income we offer, but like it's moving up, and that's $65,000. That's a good paying job.
That's a good
attractive
wage
to people.
And it's a blue collar job. So these are going to be manufacturing, and those are good wages for Arizona, where the cost of living is lower. You know, if you're in the Bay Area, $65,000 doesn't go a long ways, but if you're in Tucson, that's a great job, and it is good to see the jobs that are coming in. And I know we're going to talk about some of the others announcements, but the jobs that are coming in here are a kind of a level up when it comes to the quality of the jobs, when it comes to the pay, and also when it comes to the overall environment that it creates when it comes to the types of jobs that are coming here. So that's a great announcement.
And I think Tempe got a little jealous. And so they also decided apparently we have a hockey team. This is the first thing I learned. That Arizona has a hockey team.
Arizona has a hockey team.
Sport is not my
Arizona
thing.
Coyotes.
Yeah. So apparently they are wanting to stick around, and they want their own little house. And so they are looking at building a whole new arena in Tempe that, I guess, when I didn't think about it, I think, it's just going to be just a stadium or whatever it is, some ice. No, it's a whole district where it's hotels and retail, and it's a big deal. Like a $2.1 billion entertainment district and arena.
Yeah, and we saw this on a larger scale when the Westgate came in, and the what's now called the State Farm Arena was built, where the Arizona Cardinals play. You know, forever the Cardinals were playing at the ASU Stadium.
I'll take your word for
it. The Sun Devil Stadium. And then they built this new stadium way out in Glendale, but they built a whole entertainment district, mall at Westgate.
A mini city.
And it's turned into a great project. The Cardinals haven't been that great since they moved out there, but the the Phoenix Coyotes or the Arizona Coyotes had a stadium on the west side as well. They never really got too much traction. I went to a few events myself, a few hockey games myself. The west side was kind of hard for them because there's a lot of people live in the East Valley, right? And if you think about, I want to go to a hockey game and I have to drive an hour across town. So they were trying to get in Tempe for a long time. And there was a lot of pushback from the airport because of FAA restrictions and what this new stadium could potentially do. Because as anyone who lives in Phoenix knows, the airport is right in the middle of town and most times flies over Tempe in or out. And the construction and all of the activity around this new sports complex, Phoenix Sky Harbor was saying it's not going to work. Yeah. But they did get it approved, and it looks like it's moving forward. We'll put on our YouTube section of the podcast the renderings, but the renderings look great for this project. So it's right on Tempe Town Lake where all this stuff is happening. I mean, Tempe Town Lake is really
where
turning
the cool people go.
It's a destination not only for what it had always been was the near Mill Avenue, the party place for the college kids. Yeah. But then a bunch of companies started building and locating there on the lake. State Farm has a huge presence there. Company I worked at, LifeLock, has a big office there. And now we continue to see the development around the Tempe Town Lake, and it's really turned into a big destination in Phoenix.
Yeah, I think its next step is just now it goes to the voters, which I love. So they voted unanimously, and now the voters get to decide. And I did kind of like the tagline of we'll be turning the landfill to a landmark. And I wish we had stolen that.
Yeah,
that
great.
belongs to them.
We like seeing that. And Tempe continues to really lead the way when it comes to really cool development. So I'm excited to see that happen.
Yeah, and then I think anytime that happens, the next step is then now we need housing. Yep. And so I thought it was interesting. There's a whole big master plan community that's going to be going in Pinal County called Arizona Farms. 761 acres.
Yeah, this was huge.
Yeah, that's right near all of this. And this is right along Hunt Highway and Highway 79. So that lets people get into Pinal County and Maricopa, right into where people need to go for jobs. And so they're looking at this huge space and a mix of multifamily, single family, because people need somewhere to live.
Yeah, this is a huge master plan community. Dorado Holdings, which is based in Scottsdale, is doing the plan. This is down in that area of Queen Creek and Santan area where this is coming in. Tons of growth out there. New home communities. It's a long ways from downtown, but it's a nice community in and of itself. And now they're building a lot of infrastructure around there. When you think of jobs, shopping, and retail, but these are the types of projects that it's when you think, wow, 761 acres.
I can't even picture what that means.
That's like a city. That's like, I don't know how big New York City is, but that's like half of New York City. It's huge. And huge announcement there. So even with interest rates, even with all of the discussions around what's going to happen with our economy because of inflation, people who are very smart, smartest people in the room are moving forward with these types of projects in Arizona because they know where the puck is going.
Yeah. And so Phoenix, though, will not be outdone. She will also get her money. I guess football is coming here. It's also a more sport thing that I learned.
Do we know what football is? Do we need to go over the rules?
I know it's loud. And I know you like it. But I guess the Super Bowl is coming again. I thought they already did that. I didn't know I don't know if it happens again, but I guess it's like 15.
Yeah, they seems like they do it about every year.
About every year. Yeah. So weird, but they're coming again. And so they're like, guess what? Do you want to rent out your home? You can make all the money that you'd ever want. Yeah. And that, I feel like a little bit tempted, right? But then there's this great article that I think we should post in there of the things to think about if you are planning to rent out your home. Yeah,
it is tempting because it's going to be a crazy time it's not just the day. Super Bowl Sunday is February 12th, and it'll take place at the State Farm Arena at Westgate that we already referred to. So anyone around there who owns a home could probably rent out their home for enough to pay their mortgage for 2 or 3 months. For not only that night, Sunday night and Saturday night, but a week or two leading up to it, there's a huge frenzy. The last game is played 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So right after that game is played, everyone comes to Arizona. And Shaq just announced today he's having a big party.
I was not
and,
invited.
And you might get the
But I'm
invite. He
waiting.
probably just sent the invites out. So it's a huge event, huge opportunity for folks like us where we have a lot of vacation rentals. We're certainly going to maximize the prices during those times because it's all about supply and demand. And I think if you own a home and you don't mind someone coming in, staying there, a lot of people are going to look at that. And other people who might have a casita in their backyard or a mother-in-law suite that's just sitting there, I think they might look at renting it for a couple of weeks there. The only thing I would also point out is the Super Bowl is big, but the other things that happen in the spring in Arizona could also really, if you're somebody who's thinking of renting out a casita or something on your property, we also have Phoenix Open.
Which is either golf or tennis.
That's golf.
Okay.
Then it goes right into, and the Phoenix Open is in January. Actually, before that, we have the big car show. That is, I forget what that's called.
But is it the Barrett Jackson?
Barrett Jackson.
Yeah,
That's in Scottsdale.
I've
So that's
known
in
a lot
January.
of people who are into that.
Then we have the Phoenix Open. Then we have the Super Bowl. Then it goes right into spring training in March and April. It's going to be a really busy time here when it comes to people visiting. And if you are in the Airbnb space or you're looking to do it, it's a great time to make some cash.
Yeah. And so it's in 2015 when people came for the Super Bowl, more than 1 million people showed up for the Phoenix Open, at least 600,000. There's going to be so many people. So they looked. So in December this month, 19 homes are listed on Airbnb for in the range of $5,000 to $10,000. When you look for February, for when the Super Bowl, you have 428 homes who have popped up in that same range. And look, my home is not that special, but I feel like I would like $5,000 to $10,000.
It sounds like you might add a home to that mix.
I know. I might move home with my mom for a few weeks.
I mean, if you can pay your mortgage for 3 months in 2 weeks, that's very tempting. What you have to do is you have to depersonalize the home. So you got to take your pictures down. You got to clean out your closet. You got to clean out your drawers. You have to clean out your kitchen cabinets. It's actually,
that sounds like so much work.
It's like a couple of days of work.
Yeah.
And then you have to put that stuff somewhere.
And I'd have to camp out in my front yard and just watch.
But it's also very normal to just take a closet
and
put a lock on it, put everything in the closet, and take an afternoon and declutter. And then when after you rent it, you open the closet up and put everything out. But you have to get it ready.
And have a really good home rental insurance or home.
Insurance
policy is excellent.
If you use Airbnb, they do have coverage. It's included in every listing, every booking. So if somebody books it and they trash it, you take photos of it, send it to Airbnb, and that will be charged to the person or covered by Airbnb.
I love what this one man said. Just be careful of stepping over $1 to pick up a penny. And I feel like I could write that on my wall. I thought it was good advice.
I don't even know what that means, but
it's very smart.
In this case, it's worth looking at it pretty hard. If you could, especially if you live in that area, if you're within 10 or 15 minutes, you could probably rent out your home. You need to put some rules in place, but you could do really well. And, it's a cool thing that Airbnb gives us the distribution to be able to do that. 10 years ago, you couldn't really do that. Mm-hmm. So, and you couldn't get top dollar, but today you can.
So I know we talked before about the chip plant, not potato chips, Heather. But this is a chip plant that we're building out in North Phoenix, the big one.
Taiwan Semiconductor.
Yeah. And they said, you know what? We're going to throw out a second one. We like you so much. And Biden even came to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
another party I was not invited to.
Yeah, they originally said they were going to spend about $15 million, and now they've upped it to billion.
Yeah.
They've now upped it to $40 billion. And they had a big announcement. They had the CEO of the world's largest company, Apple, Tim Cook, also was here with President Biden.
Handsome man, yes.
And they announced that not only are they going to build that original plant, but they're going to build a larger plant, and that Apple is going to start sourcing chips from Arizona. Yeah. This is the first stateside onshore announcement Apple's ever made. They've always got their chips from Asia. China, Taiwan, other Asian countries. Now they're going to onshore. Part of this is because after COVID, they realized they need to bring some more of their supply chain and get more control over it. And of all the places they selected Arizona. So this is a really big announcement.
Yeah, they don't want to have to wait for it to come over an ocean.
Yeah.
You're like just down the street. Yeah, so one of the largest foreign direct investments in Arizona and U.S. history.
Yeah,
and good job, Arizona. I'm so proud of her right now.
Yeah, and this really goes to the maturation of the Arizona economy, where we used to be really heavily dependent on construction.
Mm-hmm.
Before that was citrus. Before that was cattle.
Yes.
Before that it was cotton.
The 4 C's, yes. We learned about this in school.
We learned about them in
grade,
school.
The 4 C's.
And now we add the other C as chips.
And cash.
But one thing that happens with these jobs, and we kind of alluded this to around the battery plant in Tucson, is these are high-paying professional jobs, very a technical base that's required from the folks who are working at these plants. So this $40 billion investment also equals a lot of new people coming here to work that are going to have high-wage, highly technical jobs. And what happens is, as more of these jobs continue to come here, because on the other side of the valley down in Chandler, Intel is building another huge chip plant. And what happens is we're going to start seeing a remaking of our economy here to become more technical, to be more science-driven, to become more research-driven, because that ecosystem not only does it support these plants, but now the plants are going to start saying, hey, we need to start sourcing employees from ASU. And ASU doesn't currently have a big base of technical science base of students coming out of ASU. But now this will help drive that.
It's like a rebranding.
And it's an evolution that's happening where as these plants come in here, it really does change our economy overall. So it's not just about those plants, but it's also about how that feeds into other industries. So just one example of that is, we have the auto industry in the U.S. is primarily in Detroit. But if you go outside of Detroit, several hundred miles circular, there's all these other jobs that support the auto industry. Yep. Auto parts, tires, you name it. The autos are actually made in, the Detroit, Michigan area, but the whole economy around that area is supporting it. And that's where these types of announcements are so critical. Is this isn't announcing, that we're going to start making Twinkies in North Phoenix. We're making chips and different kind of food. Yeah. But this is a highly technical, highly scientific, research-driven sort of industry that's really blossoming here.
Just those two, the two manufacturing, the plants they want to build could create 10,000 high-tech jobs. That's a lot of people in North Phoenix, which is the best part.
It is I
am biased.
That part of that section of Phoenix is going to really change, and it'll over the next 5 years we're going to see a lot of development in this industry.
The thing I'm most excited about, though, because now that Jerome Powell and I feel are best friends, he has decided to be Santa this year and come a little early, and his plan is working. It's working. That's what I thought I understood from this, that we've all been good girls and good boys, and eggs might be cheaper. Gas is. Yeah. I even drove a little extra just for fun because I thought I can afford it. This is fun.
Yeah, how much is gas in Arizona right now?
I filled up the other day, but I'm lazy and I'll go to the nearest place to me, that it was about $3.59, I think, where I was at. And I know someone in our office who got it from $3.26, and she is bragging right now behind the camera, and that is very rude.
Yeah, we've seen a big deceleration in the price of oil. Per barrel has gone down a lot. Now that's finally coming to the pump, so that's helped us.
I don't cry at the pump.
But you think Santa Claus is actually Jerome Powell?
He is real, and it's Jerome Powell.
Okay.
Yeah, he is fly fishing in Wyoming, and that's where him and all his elves are. And they said, "Good job, Heather, for staying the course." And I guess it still rose. So it's 7.1%. So still rose, but it's the smallest little rise. Is that right?
Yeah, because we saw inflation go way up, and now we're on the fourth straight month of where it started to tick down to 7.1, and it's still higher than what the target, which is 2%. So
a little bit.
we're kind of okay as an economy with a 2% increase in prices, but 7 is still too high. So we're still going to have elevated interest rates for a period of time.
But it's the right direction.
But it's the right direction.
This one is it a belated dose of optimism?
Yeah.
I'd like to be cautiously optimistic.
I think the biggest thing that we don't know about is if this is sustainable or if we've really seen a peak and now it's going to continue to come down.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seen historically that inflation is hard to bring down. It really is. It doesn't just happen for a period of 4 or 5 months and now we've taken care of the problem. It's most people now, as we're looking at 2023 and as, so this is the last podcast of the year for 2022. And so as we think about what happens in 2023, it's going to be all about the same story, which is inflation.
Yep.
Can we bring this back down to this 2% range? And it's not going to happen early in the year. That's why a lot of people are predicting that there's going to be a recession next year. In order to bring inflation down, we have to have a recession. It just has to be part of the correction. And so next year is going to be probably a little bumpy when it comes to our economy, when it comes to how the stock market does, because inflation it's a tough cat
She's
to
a fickle
corral.
lady.
She is.
She does not want to be told what to do.
Yes.
I love her. But Biden did say that he hoped by prices being back to normal by the end of next year. So he did say, give us a year, and I've got nothing but time.
Yeah, and Biden's a politician. Obviously, President Biden's a politician. A lot of the economists are saying similar things.
Yeah.
But 2023, my favorite economic research department is, of course, Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
But they are saying they're expecting a recession next year. It could be mild, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. So we'll see what that means and how that plays out. But it was good to see the inflation come down, and the stock market had a nice pop today. That's part of why we don't play in the stock market. We're more real estate people. It's a bit more steady. If you're a stock person, you're excited about when the market goes up and down. But
I have no interest in risk. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, and if you don't, then the stock market is not the place for you.
I want to be warm and fuzzy and safe.
Right.
But then there is someone who thinks you're a liar, and his name, Dr. Christopher Thornburg, and he said, Jamison Manwaring, there is no recession. And he is apparently a fancy, nationally recognized economist. So you guys might want to stage a fight later in the parking lot. But he was just in Tucson at the economic forum there, wanted to talk about the possibilities of recession. And he said, don't you worry your pretty little heads. He said it in a much more professional way than I just did. But that he thought because of the job market and housing that we're going to avoid what we would typically think is a recession. And it's just things are kind of redefined, not necessarily, it just will look different than we think, but it's not gloom and doom and all the scary headlines.
Yeah, and these smart economists who look at the data, they've been doing this a long time, they're kind of on different sides of this. So we'll see how things play out next year. We know we have a strong labor market. There aren't enough people to fill the jobs that we need. And that's really different than past recessions. So we'll see how it plays out, but hopefully through next year we'll be able to get through inflation, bring it back down to a sustainable level so that we can move on from that. The difference with this one, with this potential recession that we may be in right now, we may not be in, is just what's happening with jobs. There are more jobs than we have the ability to fill, and that's not normal in a recession.
No, but my job is not available to anybody else.
That's
it
true.
is taken. You can find a different job. And so I guess the jobs report, even though new jobs are slowing, they are still higher than they've ever been. And so and it said the biggest contributors, hospitality, healthcare, and government, that they're looking for people. Yeah,
they cannot find enough people. And we thought this was kind of going to end after the pandemic. And here we are at the end of 2022, and there are still restaurants that cannot find enough workers to be open. And there's still service jobs that there aren't enough skilled people to fill those jobs, and these are good paying jobs. This is something we haven't seen before. When the pandemic happened, we didn't know what all the impacts of this would be.
We thought it was the end of the world, and we had incredible growth.
Yeah.
Mostly all the online shopping that I did.
Yes.
So you are welcome.
And one of the other things that was a byproduct of this is that a lot of people have left the labor market, and a lot of jobs that were offshore, like the Apple chip makers, are now coming onshore. So we need people to take them here because companies want to have more control over their supply chain. So there's a shortage of jobs, and I don't know how this gets fixed. But I think going back to the Fed and kind of now full circle, they're trying to slow the economy down so that there's less hiring, so that things kind of hit an equilibrium. We're starting to see some companies announcing that they're laying people off, and those usually are bad things to hear in the news. Right now, we kind of need to see that because there is not an equilibrium right now.
You're sounding very much like Mr. Powell right now.
Yes.
As long as that doesn't happen here.
I'll let him be Santa Claus, and hopefully he'll bring us something good at the next Fed meeting.